If you walked through the red dust paths of Ileroma at sunset and asked, "Who is the most beautiful woman here?" you would hear one name again and again: Lade. Daughter of the wealthiest textile merchant in the region, skin like polished bronze, voice like soft rainfall on zinc roofs. She moved with the calm assurance of someone the world had always treated kindly. But if you asked, "Who is the most dangerous woman in Ileroma?" there would be no hesitation: Zeriah. And people would lower their voices when they said it, not because she was ugly, not because she was cursed, but because Zeriah had a tongue sharper than a hunter's blade and a temper that spared no one, rich or poor, young or old. She was the daughter of Papaduro, a humble palm wine tapper, but she walked like someone born for battle. And that battle began, as most things do in Ileroma, in the marketplace. The sun was high. The air smelled of dried fish and crushed pepper. "Mama Bisi!" Zeriah's voice cracked across the market square like a whip. "You think we are fools?" Conversations stopped. Goats paused mid-chew. The elderly pepper seller trembled. "I only raised the price a little. Transport is expensive." "Does pepper drink petrol?" Zeriah snapped. "These are half-spoiled. Return my change." A young farmer, Tunde, tried to intervene. Zeriah shoved him aside without looking. "You harvested 3 yams, and now you want to mediate justice? Step back." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Zeriah collected her coins and walked away, muttering about dishonesty and weak men. By sunset, the whole village had heard the story, and they shook their heads. That girl will never marry. Far from the noise of the market stood the palace of King Adekunle. Tall walls, carved pillars, silence heavy as stone. 2 years earlier, the king had buried his wife. Since then, something in him had dimmed. His laughter had thinned, his shoulders sagged beneath invisible weight. The chiefs whispered constantly, "Chief Rotimi, Chief Adebayo." "Kabiesi," they would say smoothly, "you need a gentle queen, a peaceful woman." Peace. That word echoed in the king's mind. But peace nearly killed his father. He remembered. His father, the former king, strong once, had wasted away slowly, poisoned not by enemies from distant lands, but by smiling advisers who bowed deeply each morning. Politeness was his father's cage, and King Adekunle was done being caged. The palace courtyard shimmered with color. Beads glistened, Ankara fabric swayed, drums rolled like thunder. Maidens from 7 villages gathered to compete for the crown. Lade knelt gracefully. "My king, I will serve you with obedience and peace." Applause erupted. Then Zeriah stepped forward. No elaborate headpiece, no rehearsed humility. "What would you do if the king angered you?" a chief asked, smirking. Zeriah crossed her arms. "If he is wrong, I will tell him." The courtyard froze. A wife is not furniture. The chiefs sputtered in outrage. But the king smiled. A real smile. "For the first time in 2 years," he whispered, "I choose Zeriah." Shock spread like wildfire. Marriage did not soften her. On her first morning, she tasted the royal soup, spat it out. "Are we feeding the king or slowly burying him?" She dismissed corrupt cooks, exposed inflated accounts, forced maids to clean until the floors reflected sunlight. Servants feared her footsteps. Chiefs despised her scrutiny. But something strange happened. The king began to sleep deeply again. He ate better. His laughter returned. Strength returned to his arms. While he grew stronger, the chiefs grew desperate. In a hidden chamber near the stables, Rotimi placed a clay vial on the table. "It has no taste," he whispered. "It brings madness first, death after." The new Yam Festival approached. Perfect timing. They needed someone trusted, someone harmless. They chose Lade. They fed her lies. "The queen has bewitched the king. This is a truth potion." Ambition silenced her doubts. Drums thundered, palm wine flowed, colors burst across the courtyard. Lade approached the throne radiant in gold lace, carrying a jeweled gullet. "My queen," she said sweetly, "a sign of unity." The crowd sighed in admiration. Zeriah studied her, studied the chiefs, studied the gullet. Then she slapped it away. Wine splashed across silk. "You avoid me for months. Now you bring gifts?" The king's face darkened in public anger. The crowd murmured, "She is impossible." Zeriah walked away alone. Night fell. A stray palace dog wandered near the spilled wine. It licked, paused, then chaos. It shrieked, spun wildly, attacked the air, collapsed, dead. A guard witnessed everything. He ran to the king. The truth settled over the palace like cold fog. If Zeriah had been polite, she would have been dead. Zeriah was packing when the king entered. "I'm leaving," she said. The king stopped her. "I married you because you are feared." He told her about his father, about poison hidden in kindness, about the oracle's warning, "You need a woman who fears no one." Zeriah listened quietly, for once, silent. Then the fire returned, colder, sharper. "They tried to kill me." "Yes." "Then tomorrow," she said calmly, "we finish this." The entire village gathered. Chief Rotimi stood confident. Lade trembled. The dead dog was brought forward. "This animal drank from the queen's cup," the king declared. He turned to Lade. "Drink." She collapsed in tears. Confession poured out. Guards seized the chiefs. Secrets spilled. The web unraveled. Corruption exposed. Rotimi and Adebayo were banished. Lade sentenced to years of labor. The palace shifted, breathing again. Years later, the palace balcony glowed in golden sunset. Two stubborn children argued below. The king laughed. "Our son has your temper." "Good," Zeriah replied calmly. "The world has enough sheep." The villagers no longer called her wicked. They called her the Iron Blossom, because she was sharp, unyielding, difficult, but impossible to poison. And that is the truth few understand. Sometimes the person who offends you is the one standing between you and death. Sometimes the hardest love is the truest protection. And sometimes the queen you fear is the one who saves the kingdom. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that inspire, teach, and entertain. Until next time, bye!